Hello, my name is Tammy Roberts, and I want to begin by thanking you for being here today. I believe two of our greatest assets in life are our time and our health, and I appreciate anyone willing to give up a little of their time to learn a little bit about their health. So, just a quick little ditty about me. My background is in physical therapy, where I specialized as a chronic pain specialist for 16 years. Natural health really is where my passion lies, and now I work as a natural health practitioner. I live here in Wichita, Kansas, with my husband Jeff and our two little girls, Annie the pug and Millie the cockapoo. So I was introduced to this amazing technology, and I have come to agree with the statement that this is the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. I'd like to spend the next 30 minutes with you sharing first what redox signaling molecules are and why you need them. We'll watch a quick draw video to help reinforce what you've learned. Then we'll discuss a few of the scientific research studies that have been done and tell you a little bit more about the company. So, to better understand redox, we need to dip our toes in just a teensy bit of science, okay? Our bodies are made up of between 75 and 100 trillion cells. Now, these cells are essentially little bags of salt water. So think about when someone goes to the hospital. What do? They start a saline drip, which is a saltwater solution. Your tears are salty, your sweat is salty. You get the picture. Cells have four main functions, okay? They protect, they detect, they repair, and they replace. When they replace, it's called apoptosis, which is where a cell is designed to destroy itself if it cannot be properly repaired. Then a healthy cell replicates to replace it. In every cell is a structure called mitochondria. This is the battery pack of the cell. The mitochondria is where cellular energy, or ATP, is produced. Now, until 1998, it was believed that the byproduct of this cellular energy production was a waste product. However, in 1998, a Nobel Prize was awarded for this discovery that this waste product was actually redox signaling molecules. Since that time, many scientific bodies have been trying to recreate and stabilize these molecules. However, it was considered impossible because positive and negative molecules existing together are fleeting. It's kind of like putting hot and cold water in the same bucket and expecting them to stay that way. The National Institute of Health has given grants to three major universities for redox research, and both Vanderbilt and Harvard now have their own redox research centers. Wake Forest University just started a school for redox biology and medicine. The University of Nebraska just opened a new school of redox biology and wellness. So if the University of Nebraska, Wake Forest University, and all the others are opening specializations in redox, what does that mean? Well, it means the world at large is going to start agreeing. There is a principle called reductant and oxidants in biology and wellness that's fundamental to health. Now, we can't say the word medicine because we are not a drug, but these schools are called redox biology of medicine. So what they are saying is redox phenomena are becoming the next wave of not only wellness, but in their words, of medicine. This means that in 5 years, people will have degrees in redox biology. What we have known for over 10 years is finally reaching the world. To get a better visual understanding of this technology and how it works in the cells of our bodies, let's watch a fun quick draw video.
The human body is an extraordinary creation, made up of between 50 and 100 trillion cells, each one performing just the right function in just the right place at just the right time. Your cells themselves are amazing. Each one is a bustling metropolis of activity, a city that never sleeps. Every second of every day, your cells work tirelessly to keep your body healthy and strong. One of the major functions of your cells is the production of fuel. This fuel, known as ATP, is actually created by workers inside the cell called mitochondria. Mitochondria are so vital and important that a single cell can have thousands of these little workers. In fact, it is estimated that half of the dry weight of the human body is made up of mitochondria. Mitochondria do more than supply the body with the fuel it needs. They also play a key role in cell signaling and communication, coordinating the actions and activities of your cells. When you think about it, this kind of signaling is essential for health and life, since it is the foundation for things like cell development, tissue repair, and immune functions. Without the ability to communicate and coordinate the activities of cells, we would fall apart pretty quickly. The mitochondria's role in this vital communication system lies in the fact that they make special molecules, called redox signaling molecules. The mitochondria make these molecules by the trillions, every second of every day. Good thing, too, because without these redox signaling molecules, life itself would be impossible. You need these molecules to protect the health of your cells, to detect threats and damage, and to repair or replace injured cells. Unfortunately, as we get older, our ability to make redox signaling molecules diminishes. Ever notice that bumps and bruises that disappear in no time on a child seem to last forever on someone who is elderly? The cells in that older person simply aren't communicating as efficiently as they did when they were younger, and so cells and tissues take longer to repair themselves. And all because the body isn't making as many redox signaling molecules as it used to. But what if there were a way to replenish your supply of these amazing little molecules? What if there were, in essence, a redox signaling supplement? How would your life change if you had a supply of redox signaling molecules like you did when you were younger? Such a product would be incredible, but how would you go about making it? Well, a good start would be to understand how the mitochondria in your trillions of cells make these vitally important molecules. Your cells are little bags of salt water. The mitochondria and other organelles inside the cell float around in this salt water. It's not surprising, then, that when the mitochondria need building blocks for creating redox signaling molecules, they use something they have plenty of: salt water. It works out pretty great because salt water is made up of just 4 atoms: the sodium and chloride atoms in salt and the hydrogen and oxygen atoms in water. The mitochondria pull apart these saltwater molecules, then recombine the atoms in different configurations. The new combinations are, guess what? Redox signaling molecules. Things happen so fast inside the cells that these redox signaling molecules are manufactured in just fractions of seconds. And they get used quickly too. And if the cells don't need the redox signaling molecules right away, the atoms convert back into salt water, ready to be used again and again by the mitochondria. It's a very efficient system. So to make a redox signaling supplement outside of living cells, it makes sense to start with the same building blocks: salt and water. That's just what a company called Asea does. We begin with a pure, pristine saline solution. Then, using a highly protected and patented electrochemical process, we break apart the bonds that hold the sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms together. These free-floating atoms are then recombined in new configurations, and voila! Redox signaling molecules. Of course, the process sounds a lot easier than it really is. Your mitochondria make redox signaling molecules in fractions of seconds. Asea takes 3 full days to make the same molecules. But the real triumph for Asea came in overcoming the issue of stability. Remember that redox signaling molecules made in the cell get used right away or else turn back into salt water? That's because redox signaling molecules are very reactive. They want to get busy and start working right now. This reactive nature makes it difficult to keep these molecules around for long. They want to get used or they'll revert back into salt water. Fortunately, after countless hours of research and experimentation, the scientists at Asea reached a breakthrough. They discovered a process for pairing these highly reactive molecules into balanced sets, stabilizing redox signaling molecules outside of living cells. This really is something extraordinary. Molecules that last just microseconds inside the cell have a shelf life of over a year in a bottle of Asea. Amazing! So what does Asea, the world's first redox signaling supplement, mean for you? Simply put, it's an entirely new approach to health. Every other health and wellness product, vitamins, exotic juices, everything, tries to help the body by giving it something foreign, something the body has to try to figure out how to use. Not so with Asea. The molecules in Asea are native to the body. See, your body already knows how to take care of itself. Your cells actually make the tools they need, and for the first time in history, you can replenish and reinforce those tools. You can, in fact, give your body more of the native molecules it needs to take care of its own health. Asea is more than a mere supplement. It is a foundational approach to health and wellness, a fundamental shift in how we take care of ourselves. So are you wondering just what Asea can do for you? There's one powerful way to find out. Talk to the person who shared this message with you. Get your hands on a case of Asea and feel for yourself the effects of the world's first and only redox signaling supplement. Your life and your approach to your own health will never be the same.
Don't you wish you could draw like that? So why do we need to supplement with these molecules if we produce them in every single cell of our bodies? Well, as you just learned, we lose the ability to produce them as efficiently as we age. Starting at puberty, we begin to decline at a rate of 10% per decade of life in our ability to produce redox. Now, many factors contribute to this decline. With aging, we have fewer and less efficient mitochondria. We're exposed to toxicity, pollution, and disease. Think of a little child who can run around and play all day and fall down, go boom. And then the next day, they're not hurting, they're not sore. Their bodies heal and repair very effectively. Here's an analogy that we often use to describe this. I want you to think of your body as a house. Now, there's a fire in your house somewhere, and you need to call the fire department. If you pick up your cell to call, but you have no signal, your message to the fire department will not get through. And when they don't get the message that there's a fire, they are unable to come and assist. Well, the same thing happens in your body. Your cells need to be able to signal so the repair crew gets the message and shows up. If you think about it, all health issues in the body are rooted in damaged cells. Asea is your easy button. It doesn't matter what the issue is or where it is. It involves cells that need to communicate in order to protect, detect, repair, or replace. Now, Asea is made from salt and water in our labs in Salt Lake City, Utah. They use a 3-step process. These molecules are considered native to the body, which means the exact same thing that is in your bottle of Asea is in every cell of your body. So it is impossible to be allergic to this product, and there is no level of toxicity and no negative interaction with meds or other supplements. Now, Asea has no LD50. And LD50 is the dosage at which a product becomes lethal for 50% of test subjects, usually mice. When the researchers tried to find an LD50, they said they'd have to drown our mice in Asea to cause harm. The company did not allow this. Why would an extreme measure, though, have been necessary to reach an LD50? Well, the researchers said that the more Asea they gave the mice, the healthier they became. So what happens when you drink Redox? Does it cure everything? No. It is neither acceptable nor accurate to say that Asea cures or prevents any condition in the body, because it truly is your body and your cells that do the healing. Asea just gives the cells the ability to communicate more efficiently so they can perform those 4 functions more effectively: protect, detect, repair, and replace. Now, you do want to have reasonable expectations when taking Asea. For many of us, it took a long time to get our bodies into the shape we are in. It's going to take a little time for tissues to heal and repair themselves. On average, 30% will see improvement in some area in 30 days, 60% in 60 days, and 90% in 90 days. Understanding the science just a little will help those with more significant challenges understand the need to stick with it over a longer period of time. With every case of Asea comes a tracker form, and it is very important to fill this out. You can customize it to fit your needs. When you take redox molecules, you don't get to tell them where to go. Your body has an inherent wisdom and will utilize them where it sees fit. By taking inventory first, you will be more in tune to the subtle changes that occur as your cells begin to communicate more efficiently. Now I will turn the time over to LoriAnn Garner, who will tell us more about herself, the science, the studies, and the company. Thank you, LoriAnn.
Hey, Tammy, thanks so much. That is such great, important information. I want to tell you just a little bit about myself. My education was in radiology and mammography. I owned and operated a supplement store, and I was a nutrition assistant with the University of Utah, with Utah State University. And that's just a little bit about my background. The main hat that I wore was I'm a mom of 5 kids and 15 grandkids, and I love to have a body that is healthy and strong and that I can go hike a mountain any day that I want. So that's my motivation in keeping my body so healthy and strong and keeping up with all these kids and grandkids. So thanks, Tammy, for letting me share today. And let me share my screen again here. Okay, so we are going to talk about the studies. Tarot Lab did a gene study, and Asea actually redesigned their label to print the results of this study on the back of the bottle. The gene study was done over 8 weeks. Participants on average were 35 years old and very healthy. In 100% of these participants, improvements were measured in 5 different genetic pathways of the body. This is what they found: improved immune system health, healthy inflammatory response maintenance, support of cardiovascular health and arterial elasticity, improved gut health and digestive enzyme production, and modulated hormone balance to support vitality and wellness. Improvement in expression of these genetic pathways was between 20 to 31% in all participants. That's pretty extraordinary. Next, Dr. David Neiman of the University of North Carolina Human Performance Laboratory performed a metabolomics study with Asea. Dr. Neiman is the vice president of the American College of Sports Medicine, the author of 9 books on physiology and exercise testing, has over 200 peer-reviewed articles and over 300 articles in health and wellness magazines. All of his studies are double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled. Dr. Neiman's study showed that within 30 minutes of ingesting Asea, the body starts to mobilize fat from your abdomen and then goes out into your bloodstream as medium chain free fatty acids. These free fatty acids can be used as a fuel source. So when you're on Asea, you begin to burn fat as a fuel source first. Fat burns and produces ATP, also known as cellular energy, about 6 to 8 times more efficiently than muscle glycogen or stored glucose. Also, when you're burning fat, you don't produce lactic acid, which builds up in your muscles and makes you sore the next day. This is important not only for athletes, but also for us average people. Professional athletes and weekend warriors have noticed Asea reduces their recovery time. So if you don't have to use your cellular energy for normal activities of daily living, your cells have more cellular energy to perform, protect, detect, repair, and replace. Another study done by Dr. Neiman is they put mice on little mice treadmills and measured how far they could run till exhaustion. Then they split them into 2 groups. They put half on Asea and half on a placebo. The placebo used was salt and water in the same concentration as Asea. So keep in mind, many naysayers on the internet will say Asea is just salt and water. However, we have taken the salt and water through some very advanced electrobiochemistry, rearranged the molecules, and they are no longer salt and water. They are redox molecules. It's much like when you bake a cake. You take eggs, flour, sugar, and you mix these together, and when baked, a molecular change occurs. You have cake, not eggs, flour, sugar. It's the same with redox. So let's go back to our findings of the study. Mice on Asea ran 29% further on average than the control group and further than before Asea. There was a 33% increase in the sparing of muscle glycogen because they were burning fat as a fuel source. Who doesn't want to burn fat as a fuel source? Sign me up. Okay, now let's talk about the cholesterol study by Dr. Neiman. He took 106 overweight women ages 20 to 73 and gave them Asea for 12 weeks. The findings were significant reduction in oxidized LDL, which is your bad cholesterol. And Asea increased the body's own antioxidant glutathione efficiency by 500 to 800%. Dr. Neiman said, "We found that drinking 4 ounces of Asea a day for 12 weeks reduces LDL levels in the blood, a highly significant finding. And if you can keep your oxidized LDL low, your chances of heart disease goes down." So let's look at what others are saying about Asea. Forbes in 2019, a super supplement to repair damaged cells. Huffington Post in 2016, 5 emerging technologies in science that will shape our lives in coming years. Redox Congress was held in Paris on June 2019, and over 20 doctors presented their studies on redox. Dr. Brian Clement, head of Hippocrates Institute, did his own year-long double-blind study, and he said, quote, "We would strongly advise utilizing this important contribution to human health." Dr. James Watson, the co-discoverer of the double helix structure of DNA, a well-respected scientist, said, "Type 2 diabetes, cancer, and brain disorders are a lack of redox signaling molecules. So at PubMed.gov, if you type in redox, over 314,000 articles come up. And I'm sure it's more than that now since I put this slide together. If you type in redox signaling, there are over 33,000 articles. And if you type in redox signaling plus the condition that you are wondering about, you can access an archive of articles. So check it out at pubmed.gov. There are currently over 1,200 textbooks written and 5 Nobel Prizes awarded in redox science. The good news is getting out. Now, Asea decided to make a topical application out of their molecules, and they added a clay and a pH balancer to the original product and made a gel called Renew 28. This was first developed as a skincare product, but we now know it as a whole body skin therapy. Dermatest is a renowned third-party lab that has done extensive testing on Renew 28, giving it a 5-star rating for safety and effectiveness. Renew 28 is part of a redox-friendly skincare system, which is deserving of an entire presentation in and of itself. So now let me introduce you to our Asea Via line. It is a complete cellular wellness supplement. With redox molecules, we have the labor and the nutritional line, and we have the materials to support complete nutrition. So what does that mean when we add this nutritional line so that we have complete support and nutrition? I want you to think about your body as a house again, like Tammy was talking about before. In your house, there are constant renovations happening. You're continually repairing and updating, so to speak. It's a lifelong process. If you had a construction crew show up with all the best equipment and muscle in the world, but the trailer full of supplies did not arrive, or only a fraction of your materials show up, you get very little done. In your body, redox is the labor force, the crew that does the work to repair and remodel your house. The nutrients you take in and absorb are the materials and building blocks the crew need to use to get their work done. So even if we have a balanced, healthy diet, it's nearly impossible to get all the nutrients we need from the food that we eat. We simply must supplement our diets. So these whole food micronutrients are patented to be bioavailable. That means our bodies and our cells can absorb them and utilize them to their full potential. This is key when you choose a supplement for your body. So now I'd just like to spend a couple of minutes giving a quick story of how we came to be Asea. I think it speaks to the heart of who we are and who we are in business with. It all started with a man named Vertus Norton. Vertus was a successful businessman, retired executive VP of strategy from Kraft Foods. And in retirement, he was asked to run a biotech company and later asked to sit on the board. He wanted to understand what they were trying to accomplish. The company could produce the redox molecules from salt and water, but it required a special machine, and the molecules were only stable for about 20 minutes. So this was not a marketable model. However, Vertus began drinking this product, and he noticed his thinking started to clear up and he had more energy. He was in his 60s at the time. When it was later discovered the company was out of money and significantly in debt, they were sold to an energy company who began to sell off assets. Vertus, knowing this was something valuable, was able to purchase the technology with the help of an investor friend. His plan was to stabilize the molecules and sell the technology. It was a business opportunity in the beginning. They hired Dr. Gary Samuelson, an atomic medical physicist who was eventually able to stabilize the molecules. The product was presented to a big pharma company who did their due diligence and offered them a check big enough they wouldn't want to talk to anyone else. However, they said they wanted to take it through an FDA process, and in order to do so, it could not be in the hands of the public. They would have to cease production immediately. Well, before this meeting, Virtus had started a focus group for the product. They wanted to see if people would take it. For some people, it can taste like pool water. They then chose 40 people and gave them all the product they could need. 6 of these people were significantly challenged in their health. And after 2 months, they checked on their focus group and found the 40 had shared with 135 people in 20 different countries. They had their answer. People would take this product. The terms of the deal would have taken this product away from these people who were benefiting from the redox, whose bodies were improving in their ability to communicate at a cellular level. Virtus, who had started this journey as a business venture, chose to turn down the money. He chose the people, and he realized this was about more than money. It was about helping people. They were then faced with the problem of how to get it out into the world on a larger scale, because people don't know what redox is, and placing it on a shelf in a store with ingredients that said salt and water was not a good model. So they chose network marketing. This model lends itself to having a conversation, a chance to explain a little of the science to foster understanding. I am so proud to be in business with these people and very proud to share this product. And as Virtus would say, we are all at the start of something big with great purpose. And right now is the moment that we begin influencing the future. We can change the world. And I like to add, one cell at a time, one person at a time. I'll forever be grateful to the person who had the courage and persistence to share these molecules with me. This ends our presentation, and we invite you to get back to the person who invited you here today. And for those of you that want to learn more, excuse me, about this presentation and want to learn more about Asea and the business opportunity with real life testimonials, please join us on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you have any more questions or would like more information, your next step is to talk to the person who invited you to watch this presentation and be here today. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for coming.